Oh yeah. Hey folks, Automatic here for Automatic Games. Hoping that this stream finds you well. I'm doing well. Happy Friday night. I want to do a little parody action. Romance of the Two-Party System, Part 4. I know. What happened to Part 1 through 3? Well, that's a fair question. And I don't think I'm going to explain it. No, I guess I kind of can. You know, our story will start in 1960. And if it's the romance of the two-party system, it probably started in, what, late 1700s, right? Well, we don't got time for all that shit, so we're just skipping to Chapter 4, 1960. The New Deal coalition is strong. FDR is dead, but he has reigned for almost 4 terms. That's kind of crazy. It's very remarkable, wouldn't you say? What else is there to say about it? I guess we could say the in-between, right? Since FDR has been gone, we've had his lieutenant, his vice president, Harry Truman, who carried on his legacy. And then the general. This is Dwight D. Eisenhower, of course. Suffice to say, as I already said, we'll be starting in 1960. The general is departing. This chapter is called In the Shadow of the General. I created all the maps for this, all the fighters. This particular map is called Primary Concerns, and as it kind of alludes to, we're going to start with the primaries. So, let's have it out between. Not him. Between George Wallace of the Dixiecrats versus Hubert Humphrey. And I'll have more about them as we proceed. But where would Wallace be? I think I put him under independent counsel. I sure did. Oh, I'm sorry, it ain't Wallace. It ain't Wallace at all. It's a man named Harry Byrd. Harry Byrd, representing the Dixiecrats, and all that implies. Versus more of a standard bearer of the Democratic Party. And that would be Hubert Humphrey. We'll be seeing a lot of Hubert here. But this will be his first foray. Hubert representing kind of like the establishment Democratic Party of 1960. Whereas Harry Byrd, no relation to Bob Byrd if you're a Politico. Similar politics, but no relation. Harry Byrd, I don't know if he was a governor or senator. I want to say he represented... Oh, you know what? I think he came from Virginia. Anyhow. I'm going to find a little Romance of the Three Kingdoms background music. What is this? This is 30 minutes long. That would do. Won't that do? Won't have to worry about commercials or nothing? Well, there's one there. Yep, that works. Whoa. So coming from the Deep South, we have Harry Byrd, armed with an extraordinarily long lightsaber. He represents the southern, kinda racist section of the super racist section of the Democratic Party. The Dixiecrats, wouldn't you know? And Hubert Humphrey. Here goes. I say Hubert Humphrey as if he doesn't need an introduction. I'm sure he does. Now the favorite here is Humphrey. Humphrey's supposed to win. Oh man. Okay, good. I was about to say, this might take a minute. We're getting down to the wire. Humphrey gets another blow like that, just like so, and he's got himself a win. Ladies and gentlemen, Northern Democrats rejoice. Common sense Democrats rejoice. Hubert Humphrey has won the day. But Humphrey's not done, see? In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll switch Humphrey over to the red team, because he has a new primary challenger. Now, there were several challengers in 1960 in the Democratic primaries. Was Adlai Stevenson among them? But here's the one. John Kennedy versus Hubert Humphrey for the Democratic primary. Here we go. Let's give them both the intro again. He doesn't look too confident. JFK is already running. I mean, he's just charging in. Now his eyes are open. His armor is representative of Camelot, as you know. And Camelot don't fuck around. It's a lot of damage. Wow. For a second, I got confused, since Humphrey is wearing kind of the same deal, similar deal. That's because they got a similar agenda. In fact, I'll tell you that Kennedy and Humphrey, they debated in 58, which, if you're interested in televised debates, that's pretty damn early. And they seem to get along quite well, especially when you've got the Dixiecrat segment going on with Harry Byrd. These two found themselves on the same page. Let's stick with this map. Let's next see who the Republicans will put up. Well, need to beat around the bush. The vice president of the general will be running. Hold up. Did I have the... Okay, no, I didn't. Good. The vice president of the general would be none other than Richard Nixon. This music just keeps repeating. Let's switch it up. Can't do 30 minutes of that. Oh, who is Richard Nixon running against in 1960 in the Republican primary? Oh. Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. probably, but also definitely Nelson Rockefeller. Nelson Rockefeller represents the liberal wing of the Republican Party. And that's not to say that Nixon represents the conservative wing. Not in the least. There we go. Now we got a change of music. It's all going to be Romance of the Three Kingdoms, though. I like to get in here close up too, because sometimes you get deformed combatants, and I want to avoid that. I don't want to. There we go. Nelson Rockefeller, certainly representing the liberal wing of the Republican Party, as I said. And Nixon's already he's moving quite quick. Let's do it. He's got butcher blades, because he had to cut off his right arm and he had to cut off his left. And he's not a good butcher. I'm not a good butcher. Ah, that's his special move. And that's a Bob Evans commercial. Rockefeller is getting the worst of this. If Nixon does, God, if he just hits him one more time. But he's laying down. Here it is. If it connects, I'm sure it did. Rockefeller's down. And you may hear people from time to time say that, like, yeah, Nixon wasn't, that he was more liberal than people would tend to think. And I've got no argument with that. A lot of that, in my opinion, has to do with running against Nelson Rockefeller and meeting with him and creating unity in the Republican Party, thereby adopting some liberal policies. I don't know. I'm certainly not alone in thinking that. So there we have our candidates. JFK versus Richard Nixon. Mr. Casper, how you doing? No crazy history thing here. Well, that's what you get when you go against Camelot. Damn right. Damn right. Ahoy, ahoy, it's just you and me. Oh, and another guy. There's somebody else out there. Our mystery guest. I do appreciate lurkers, though. Alright, so we're going to change levels, I think, right? And it's not only going to be Nixon versus Kennedy. We got to start with the vice presidential contest. So let's do that. And who were the vice presidential candidates in 1960 for, let's see, where are we going to go? Let's try, I made all these levels, by the way. Let's go to debate stage. It's kind of cramped quarters. See what I mean? Like there's not a lot of room. They can get pushed up against this wall. I've seen combatants get pushed through it, so it's kind of a janky level. But whatever. Well, the impossible question to ask people that don't care about politics is who Richard Nixon's vice presidential candidate was in 1960, and the answer to that is Henry Cabot Lodge. Henry Cabot Lodge is an interesting guy because he's kind of one of the architects of the Cold War, in a way. In a very substantial way. Nope, wrong side, dude. We're gonna make Nixon the red, since he's the presumed winner. Or no, what am I doing? This is vice presidential. Okay. So yeah, we've got Henry Cabot Lodge representing the Nixon ticket. And then we have, now, who was Kennedy's vice president? That's right, motherfuckers. Lyndon B. Johnson! Just going to start by pausing and we'll take a look at them. Make sure they're not deformed. Casper says, I could totally see Nixon running in battle with two cleavers. I get that from the Frost-Nixon interviews where at one point he's talking about firing his guys after Watergate. And he's like, I did it. I cut off my left arm and I cut off my right. And I am not a good butcher. I'm like, okay, that's it then. And the color, oh no, the color matters too. I think I have red representing establishment Republican ideas. Blue representing establishment Democrat ideas. Purple, you see, Henry Cabot Lodge is not only wearing some purple, but his weapon is purple. Look, he was Nixon's vice presidential candidate. Then he was appointed by Kennedy. He was appointed to the Kennedy administration. So he worked for both parties. And he was, I think, the ambassador to Vietnam just when that was ramping up. had a lot to do with a lot of the intrigue there. So this is like the most famous guy you've never heard of, right? No, politically speaking, Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. And his dad was way into politics, his grandpa, etc., etc. Who's gonna win though? Him or Lyndon B. Johnson? Wearing, he's got a little fur, he's a little rugged, he's not exactly Camelot. He's even got a patch on the old pants. He comes to us from what, Texas? I believe. Representing Texas. He's got himself the blue cavalry sword. Let's see how it do. Oh, Zero, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Says hi, Otto. Hi, everyone. Hi, Casper. Just pure chaos of the cleaver. Yeah, that's true, too. And he's got two of them, and he runs. That's a weird thing. So, like, I had to do some, like, you know what I mean? You kind of have to go into this deciding who's going to be stronger than who. I don't want any of the vice presidents to be strong enough to contend with any of the presidents, for instance. And the people that never even make it have to be a little bit weaker because you want them to lose in a historical matchup. And then you have these vice presidents that later became president, like a George H.W. Bush. Well, that's tricky. So it's weird how I tried to balance these guys, and not all of them will be balanced. I'll tell you, in this fight, I don't know who would win. It doesn't matter, since it's a vice presidential fight. Shit. Oh, well, that didn't do any damage, but Johnson just dove right in. He keeps diving. Special move. See, I think Johnson should win because he was president and vice president, but here again, Henry Cabot Lodge is kicking his ass. That's it. Is my voice coming in okay compared to the music? And if either of you guys would be so kind. Let's take it to unconventional warfare. It's come down to this. We're going to give the stage to Richard Milhouse Nixon, since he's already the sitting vice president. He coming with the big guns. Well, as we've mentioned, he's coming with two cleavers. Ward and June. If you catch that reference, it's time for your colonoscopy. There's Nixon. It's going to take a minute for them to even get to each other. That's alright. Good news is they're both runners. Just my way of saying that they're both aggressive candidates. Like, very aggressive. Kennedy wants to be president because that's where the action's at. You know, if you go to a dime store and you want to be the clerk, well, then you would love to be the manager because that's where the action's at. So you'd be a fool to get into politics and not want to climb the ladder. He said as much. We'll slow-mo it for a second and get a look at our two contenders, even though we've already seen them. Kennedy, all the glory of Camelot. He bringing it on. He too has a bit of a cavalry sword, and he's wielding it two-handed. Of course, these are all laser swords. Holy crap, you can tell his blade is not blue. And it's not red either. It's purple, which means when I made him, and I forgot I did this, I made him pretty, it's pretty conservative for that side of the aisle. And, here we go. Kennedy is supposed to win. We'll see. Oh, Nixon's special move. That hurt. You gotta get in there, Jack. Oh. Is that damage? Kennedy does a hell of a lot of damage. He's just not as nimble, which is kind of strange, you know? And again, you ever heard Nixon play the piano? It's really breathtaking. It's kind of wild. Get him, Kennedy. This is it. If you... Okay. I was about to say, if Nixon got off one more special move... Hey, you see, Nixon has kind of we put him in some kind of Far East looking armor. We'll have more on that later, but there's our winner. Kennedy. Hell yeah. Yes, your audio is good. Awesome. If anything, just a little quieter on the music. Voice is good, though. Nice. One thing with the music, I am going to do that. One thing with the music, since it's different songs from Romance of the Three Kingdoms, I'm getting the sense that there's different volume levels to them, you know what I mean? For me, both the music and his voice are about the same on my end. Gotcha. Then it can't hurt to drop the music a tad. Appreciate the feedback. Casper says, let's go Camelot. I was saying the same thing just because I kind of want history to play out. But still, even back then, and you're talking personalities, Kennedy's a lot of charisma to deal with, you know. Well, now comes an interesting part. Kennedy's been elected. Need an equalizer. I need an equalizer. Let's see. Now we move on to the Kennedy administration. No, actually, this is still part of... This is still kind of representative of his running for president. As you see, I've got the United States here. And what I'll do is, let's see, we'll go to line settings. We'll make it a circle instead. Can we make it smaller? Oh, we can. I would put him in Washington, D.C., No, I'm going to put him in the center, because it's just more fair. I can put opponents around him. You know what I'm saying? We need to invert, so blue's on the inside. Alright. Who do we have in the Kennedy administration here? I'm going to allow, and during this part of the romance of the two parties, during this part, I'm going to allow the president to bring in some muscle. They'll certainly get their vice president to assist them. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, there's JFK. We need Lyndon Johnson. Let's give him another. Sergeant Shriver is related to the Kennedys. Bobby Kennedy. Or Ted Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy, of course. I don't think I want to give them any more than that, because what they're going to do is I'm going to put down 50 opponents. In other words, kind of one from each state, right? Hey, Gary, how you doing, man? Got a local 4-pack. Says, hi, Otto. Howdy, Casper and Zero. Says, this has got to be one of the more unusual games I've ever seen. Yeah. Yeah. But truly it's tabs, but I've turned it into my political battleground. So the way this will work with the opponents here, it's going to be... I'm going to go to a character pack that I made. Well, first we got to go to government. We got to get governors, and yeah, it looks like the governor from Pocahontas. 'Cause right? Not a very strong army. 'Cause right? We would definitely need representatives of the Deep South in this. Actually, let's put one governor up here as if to say New England. And let's put one here to represent the Dixiecrats. Also, I'm going to say, like, there are avatars of characters in here that the very sight of which could offend the feeble-minded. Don't let that happen to you. Now we go to the people. And I'll just start and we'll kind of ask ourselves, did Kennedy face opposition from this class? For instance, Proud Boys, no. Greenpeace, no. Dixiecrats? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put 5 Dixiecrats there. Indiscretion? Yeah. Let's give him a mistress in New England. Let's give him a mistress. Good night. I love you. Not you guys. I may do in a weird way. Let's give him a mistress up in Chicago. Truther, soccer mom, legacy media would have been on his side. Law enforcement, no. Native activists, not yet. Evangelicals, yup. Yeah, we don't want no Catholic president. We'll put one in each area. That puts us at 15 states accounted for. Gary says I'm doing well. Nice. Glad to hear it, man. Let's see, where were we? Crime? Yeah. I don't know. Let's put that up by Chicago, I guess. I'm not gonna go get too carried away with crime. I don't know how. Labor, definitely. Labor up there. Labor there. Yeah, we'll have him fight labor everywhere. Not that he was anti-labor, but he was anti... anyway, his brother, right? In the Teamsters Union. Antifa, Tea Party, Communist. Yeah, we'll put a communist out in Cali. Put 2 of them out there. We're going to put more socialists than communists, I think. CIA agent. It's basically Where's Waldo. Yeah, it's Kennedy. We're definitely putting a CIA agent in there. We'll send him from Washington, I guess. I don't know. Hippie? Not quite yet. Neocon, not yet. Birther. Weather Underground, not yet. Pharmaceutical. Socialist. Yep. Let's get a few socialists. Actually, that's too many. Alright, half of our states are accounted for. I don't think we're putting any socialists in the Deep South, right? What do you think? Blue Dog Democrat, evangelical male. Yes. More evangelicals. You see, I mean, obviously the fear is, if you've not been interested in any of it before, the fear is that a Catholic president would take his orders from the Pope. You can watch that even going back to 1958, his debate with Hubert Humphrey. He's asked a question about something the Pope said, and they're like, that's church doctrine. Do you agree with it, Mr. Kennedy? And of course he says no. He said, I'm allowed to disagree with. Safe answer, and Humphrey didn't go after him any further on that. And of course, like, I failed to mention the Nixon-Kennedy debates. I mean, there were 4 of them. Anarchists, Black Panthers. Yeah, we're putting Black Panthers up in the Chicago area. Maybe a few in Cali. A feminist? Should we put a feminist or two? Boy, he's got a crowd. Let's put her in New England. Even though she should be out west, right? Weather Underground, eh? I think it's funny there is a cult name that when there's now a website for checking your weather nowadays. Really? See, I didn't know about that. I knew about the activist, sometimes terrorist group. But no, I did not know. So we've gone full circle here? No, not yet. Not quite yet. Inflation. You know, I couldn't tell you if inflation was bad in 1960. Let's worry about it when we know it's bad. Counterculture? Let's put one counterculture person there. Because I've only got 11 spaces left. College elite, wildfires, vagrancy. Yeah, we'll give Chicago and New England a little vagrancy. Pollution, Warhawks. Yes, Kennedy was definitely. He fought with his chiefs of staff. His joint chiefs, rather, right? His chiefs of staff. Probably only had one chief of staff. Illegal aliens, we won't worry about that. Unemployment. The donor class, corporate interest. Let's give some corporate interest. Well, I only got 5 spaces left. And that was all of them. So let's add unemployment. Let's, for some reason, plague the South with some unemployment. It's just random now. Yeah, a lot of people out west already. Now, these people won't all... Oh, unemployment looks like a gamer. Sorry, guys. It's no offense. Don't take it. Don't take it that way. Yes, the Weather Underground website lets you check the weather with the local private weather stations near you, not just the TV network weather stations. It's great. A great site for getting your weather data. Huh, nice. They've come a long way. We have one more spot left, and we're going to give that to Miss Marilyn Monroe. We'll put her out in California. Actually, let's put her up here so she isn't trapped by a governor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we are. It's time for the Kennedy administration. Let's see if they can... Oh, God, I don't want to say let's see if they can survive this. Even though I just did. Let's see how this goes. God. All right. Let's see. It does appear that Bobby Kennedy is dual-wielding both blue swords, and he is heading straight to the south. He's about to F up some KKK. Lyndon and Kennedy are heading up towards the Chicago area, and right now they're doing a little combat with the Black Panthers. The vagrant is very appropriately sitting down, and the governor of this area just struck the Playboy model. Huh. Meanwhile, come on, Kennedy. I don't know whether to leave it slow motion, but I don't want to miss a thing. Weather Underground, the website, Weather actually has zero affiliation. Yeah, I would imagine they're not the same. Like, it's going to be cloudy in Minnesota tomorrow. 25% chance of rain. Also, down with the man. I don't know where that club came from. Oh no. a war hawk has just shown up. It's going to try to take it to old Bobby Kennedy. Meanwhile, up in the Chicago area, they're still up there. It appears that only a Catholic priest and the Black Panthers have engaged so far. Strange bedfellows, but they can't let Kennedy succeed. Oh no, they're both down. Here comes the Hamburglar, or crime in the Chicago area. My worry is if you end up in the Great Lakes, you're done, son. You don't want to end up there. You're liable to drown, unless you can stay on your feet. And truly, old Lyndon Johnson, who just tricked his president, he's the one with his clumsy jumps that's going to end up in the drink. Let's check out Bobby Kennedy and see how he's doing. Hell yeah, take down the Warhawk. And he's taking it to the kick. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, wait. Bobby Kennedy just made a few phone calls and released MLK from jail. Now, that really sets the KKK back. This is getting interesting, folks. I'm saying all the buzzwords. But this nun, she's having none of it. Ugh. How we doing over here? Marilyn Monroe is on the scene. She has the president down. What's she trying to do here? She's here with corporate interests, which is not a huge surprise. She's down. Lyndon Baines Johnson taking it to the socialists, as I'm sure he would love to have done. An aside, Lyndon Baines Johnson is representing at the time a more conservative side of the Democratic Party. That'll change with the Great Society. That's later. All right. Indiscretions are down. And the socialist is down. Kennedy is successful up there in Chicago. Bobby Kennedy's fighting unemployment down in, where we at? What's that? What we can call that? Mississippi? He said, get a job. Oh, hit him with the what is that? The hilt of the sword for no damage, but it knocked unemployment down. It just sounds funny to say. That's got to be it. Come on. I want to get up there to the New England fight because that's going to be dangerous. Up there around the Great Lakes, I'm afraid for Vice President Johnson. All right. Actually, we might be okay. CIA has a sniper rifle. Kennedy's going right after him like, not this time, pal. Oh, it looks like the administration is reunited. And it feels so good. Camelot is moving into the Rockies. Here comes, what is this? A communist is down. Here comes the counterculture. She might be a decade ahead, but she's here already. We'll see more of that. Shit, I don't know what the Catholic priest had up his sleeves, but maybe that's just a freezing thing. Oh, the battle's on. I think the Kennedys have this in the bag. That's it. Our winners, JFK, LBJ, and looks like Bobby's about to stab LBJ in the back. You know, if only he did, we'd have a slightly different story in the end. And there you go. You see, we're certainly not going to get into assassinations or even assassination attempts. Like, There will be no Squeaky Fromm or John Hinckley or whoever. But there we go. That was our 1964, or rather 1960. Obviously in what, November of 63? Kennedy is killed in Dallas, of course. And the very next year is an election year. It's 1964. LBJ is now in charge of the government, of the executive branch at any rate, right? The death of Camelot. Let's see. I suppose we start with the primaries. I gotta try some of these other maps though, where they work. You know what? Let's try. You know what? There's one more thing we can do with Kennedy. Let's go to cultural divide. Well, hell, let's go to hot button issues here. Let's give Kennedy one last hurrah. I mean, if he wins. Get into a little foreign policy. This was a fun map to make, by the way. Alright, there's JFK. JFK versus. Under strongmen, we will pull up. Now there's a Cuban soldier. Let's put him in there. Did we put 2? Is Kennedy going to... Yeah, we do. We do. Fidel Castro. Oh, they've all got guns. But Kennedy can deflect bullets. That was probably not... Yeah, anyway, let's go on. So this will be oh, no. Correction. He doesn't deflect all bullets. Which you already knew. This is getting distasteful quick. But if he can bridge the gap, these guys are finished. And if they continue to withdraw, as you can see, the arena, this is why this is a fun map to make. It's really just a mushroom cloud. If they take the fall, it might kill them. Gary says, uh-oh. Sad times are on the horizon, right? Oh, dude, turn to Castro. With the amount of damage Kennedy does, he could take him in 1 or 2 hits. Just gotta swing, my boy. There you go! Castro's dead either way. Even if he tries to back off, he'll fall off the mushroom cloud and he doesn't have enough health. He's done. Whoa. Kennedy didn't take much damage. Of course, he's got a fair amount of health. This guy doesn't. He's dead. There we go. I'm good with that. We got the sun setting behind him. I salute you, sir. Well fought. Thanks for your service. Hold on, did I ever take the thing off? Yeah, I did. Okay. Alright. Now I need to set up 1964. What I'll do is I guess I'll go back to primary concerns. I need to figure this out. Who was running in these primaries? It's 64, so it's going to be LBJ and Vice President Hubert Humphrey. I told you you'd see more of Humphrey. LBJ will be challenged by George Wallace. We'll give him George Wallace. George Wallace is third party, but I'll just keep it within the Democratic side, because you can't have 3 different teams in this. So I figure this would be the best way to handle it. So there's George Wallace. Let's put him up against LBJ. We've seen President Johnson a couple times, but we'll take another look. I don't really have a Johnson impersonation. And the things that are like, and what you could do is if get on down there in the pants area, when you're making the pants, can you leave a little room for my balls, because my balls hang low. And that's true for a lot of Texans. It doesn't really sound like him, but there is a recorded phone call of him saying that to a tailor. George Wallace, man, so much to say about that guy. I mean, you know, he's the one that stood on the stairs blocking the students. He's famous for saying segregation now, today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. And the weird thing about him is he was a populist. A lot of these guys arrived at their racism through their culture or their neighbors or just their own hatred. I guess what I'm telling you is George Wallace was a populist. He ran on a segregationist platform to get votes. Think of that what you will. Is it worse or better than a superiority complex? I don't know. And how do I know that, you might ask? He ends up getting shot one of the times he's running for president. Arthur Bremer shoots him. I think that's in 72. I might be wrong. It might have been. Yeah, it was in 72. After that, he runs for governor a few more times. And he's in a wheelchair. One of the first things he did after he got shot was he reached out to the NAACP. He reached out to civil rights leaders and met with them privately. After he died, a lot of them said what those meetings were about, and they basically said he repented. The last time he ran for governor down there, he got 95% of the African American vote. This is the same guy that blocked those students from going to school. This is the same guy that said segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, or whatever. Just weird, isn't it? What do you do with a guy like that? But yeah, I don't know if being a populist about it makes it like more perverse, or if it dulls it a little bit. I don't know. Either way, he's putting up a better fight than I expected against Johnson. Of course, I guess you have 2 Southern boys going after it, right? I mean, maybe they received similar training. Ragdoll Jedi. This is called We Already Have Street Fighter at Home. How you doing, Water Draco, by the way? Good to see you, man. Does look like Johnson's coming out on top. Yep. Wallace is down. LBJ wins. The BJ stands for next fight. All right, let's talk Republican primaries. I do believe once again we'll put Nelson Rockefeller up there. Guy's constantly running for president. No, he just, like I said, he controls an important wing of the Republican Party, the liberal wing at the time. And he is, well, we're putting him up against Barry Goldwater. Right? What year is it? 64? Yes, indeed. It's Barry Goldwater. Here we go. I'm going to pause real quick since I have to introduce these guys, kind of. Not really. I don't have to introduce Rockefeller. You remember him. He's got the purple sword going because he ain't really like, you know, it's not your conservative values exactly. Over here, you have quite the opposite. A veritable cult of conservatism, Barry Goldwater himself. You see, like, a lot of people are against Vietnam, right? All that shit. And even Nixon will run like, I have a secret plan to get us out of Vietnam. And Ford will kind of oversee the final withdrawal from Vietnam. Lyndon B. Johnson was plagued by Vietnam, right? But the thing is, like, Goldwater had a different approach. He said we were half-assing Vietnam. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But he's like, no, we need to invade the North. Capture Hanoi. Like, yeah. But that doesn't necessarily make him conservative. That makes him a hawk instead of a dove. But his policies were very, very conservative. He is somebody that will spawn the likes of Ronald Reagan. So that Reagan conservatism. You could trace back to Goldwater. And he can teleport. That's something I forgot to mention. So Rockefeller, you might want to check behind you. Oh, they're not doing much damage. We're not slow-mowing this. Goldwater, you gotta win. Holy crap. You got a special move, don't you? For fuck's sake, you're gonna have to fight LBJ in a second. You know what? This doesn't count. Is what it boils down to. Because I'm getting a strong sense that Nelson Rockefeller is about to beat Barry Goldwater. But Goldwater scared the shit out of people. You know, certainly the liberal Republicans were not down with his ideas. And, you know, even just like moderate Republicans, or moderate voters, kind of thought it was the wrong direction. But if you are very conservative, you would probably be interested in some of Goldwater's policies. He gets a bad rap for the busing issue. Was it that, or did he voted against one of the civil rights bills? He voted for every other civil rights legislation, but against one of them because it was just fundamentally unfair, was his reasoning. And you can look into that and make your own decision. I don't think the guy had an ounce of racism in him, but anyhow, we just watched Nelson Rockefeller beat him, and that never happened. On the Democrat side, I honestly don't believe anybody... Did anybody challenge LBJ in 64? Let me run through my Democrats. I don't think they did. I don't think he had any serious challengers. Other than, we already did George Wallace. Eugene McCarthy, that's later. No, folks, the Great Society Coalition is strong, and that is what LBJ built. And it was a thing, and it's it's showing you that all these Democrats are pretty much on the same page. I know Bobby Kennedy and LBJ didn't get along. Still, same page, more or less. You understand? Like, that coalition was a monolith, it seems. Anyhow, let's take it to the vice presidential races. Still trying to figure out what the hell I'm watching. What game is this? So this is Tabs. Totally accurate battle simulator. A game in which you can make your own combatants. You can arm them with things from modern to ancient weapons. You can build your own levels where they'll fight. You can have large battles, or you can have one-on-one battles. I decided to use that as, like, at first it was kind of, you know what, at first truly it was like, I want to have Donald Trump and Joe Biden, or Donald Trump and Kamala Harris duke it out Street Fighter style. That's where it initially came from. And then I went down a long rabbit hole. And so yeah, I play this every now and then and work on a new map every now and then, but I've been kind of messing with it for a couple months, maybe at least a month and a half. And yeah, that's what I wanted to do with it pretty much. Tired of playing Popo, time for... I'm not tired of playing Popo. I love that game, but I beat it. I got a lot of hours out of it, and I'll still go back and play it. I want to get to level 20 where you unlock like a police interceptor. So I'm still kind of working on that. But no, I beat that game, so kind of figured it's time to move on. And I am actually playing Street Fighter right now, and I might stream it. After doing this long enough, I'm like, I kind of want to play Street Fighter. Let's do the vice presidential ones. Let's do it outside the Capitol building. Or inside the Capitol building. Let's see. We're talking 1974. Lyndon Johnson, former vice president, is now president. He has brought Hubert Humphrey to the ticket. So for the Democrats, we have Hubert Humphrey. I told you you'd be seeing more of him. Humphrey, in my opinion, I don't know. There's a lot there. Who is Barry Goldwater's vice presidential candidate? I know nothing about this guy, but his name is William Miller. He's from New England. He's from, like, Maine, maybe New York. Let's take a look at our contestants. You've already seen Mr. Hubert Humphrey. The thing about him is I feel like, working his way up through the establishment, he was destined to run for president after Harry Truman. After Eisenhower, actually, right? And he did. But so did JFK. And you don't beat JFK. So I feel like Humphrey kind of missed his chance. And then to be pegged as vice president by LBJ even neuters his political future more. I mean, I guess, yeah, he'll run for president, but anyways. William Miller, again, I don't know much about him, but we just went ahead and dressed him like Robin, because I've got Goldwater dressed like Batman. This fight does not matter, but I got my money on Humphrey. I mean, bringing a knife to a sword fight, Robin. And, yeah. Humphrey's blocking a lot. Like all this little ting-ting. Yeah. So William Miller is swinging quite a bit, but it's just not getting through. My grandpa, who passed before I was born, I never met him, but he's very into politics. Was John Glenn's campaign manager, believe it or not, but he loved Hubert Humphrey. This is when John Glenn ran for Senate. He was campaign manager, but he liked Hubert Humphrey a lot. Anyway. Vice presidential contest is over. Let's take it to the main event. We're going to give the stage to LBJ. Since he is the sitting president. In this, the POTUS Showdown. Oh, that's right. Goldwater can teleport or something. I think he can only do it once. Oh man, he doesn't stand a chance. Here I was thinking he'd do better in both the primary thing against Rockefeller and against Johnson. I need to make Goldwater a little stronger. I mean, I didn't want him to be like kicking everybody's ass, like where they're like, "Who? What are you?" And he's like, "I'm Goldwater." Not like that. But I didn't want him to be beat so easily. But that's about historically accurate. Goldwater was soundly defeated. I think I'm at my first hour. I will, so we got to go through the Johnson administration, which means, let's see, line settings, do that, make that smaller. Right there's fine. Oh no, I need to invert. All right. Who we putting in the Johnson administration other than Johnson and his vice president? I mean, truth is, he does have a very strong coalition here. All right, there's Big Johnson. There's Double H. I'd like to give him a third. God, I could. Could I give him George McGovern now? No, I shouldn't. I know I'll give him. Eugene McCarthy. Yeah, let's put Eugene in there. There's not much to explain with Eugene McCarthy. I don't know. He's critical of Vietnam. Why? He's not even good. No, we're not putting him there. I don't want to send two of them up against 50 opponents, really. Don't want to do that. Should I do Bobby Kennedy? I mean, fine. That's what I'll do. Bring Bobby back. And then we go to the people. And I'm going to try to figure out. No Proud Boys, no Greenpeace. Dixiecrats? Yeah, Wallace was. Oh, well, I forgot. We need to put down our governors first. The thing about the governor is he's got this radius around him that'll hold his people back, or at least attempt to. Let's see. Dixiecrats. Yep. Not as many as last time. Let's give them 4. Last time I gave them 5. Indiscretions with LBJ? I don't think so. The media. Yep. We'll bring them in. Bud, you be right back. Yeah, I'm gonna take a brief, unexpected break. I'll be right back. I'll just count this as one of my legit breaks. We'll bring up, what year are we in? Yeah, we'll bring up 64 again. Alright, be right back. If in the meantime you gotta go, please take my best wishes with you. Talk to you soon. Oh, okay. Alrighty, Draco. I got to poop. No. I do my pooping before or after stream. Sometimes my stream is the equivalent thereof, but... we'll decide. No indiscretions. No truth, there's no side. Legacy media. Did I already put down legacy media? Oh, they shoot lightning or something. Let's put one in California too, because the media really did. You know, it was Johnson that ramped up Vietnam, so yeah. It gets worse before it gets better. The evangelicals don't care anymore. Crime's an issue, sure. Let's put some crime in the East too. We'll just pretend the South doesn't have any crime. Well, God, I hate to do that with... Yeah. We're adding more crime. Labor? I would imagine labor was largely on Johnson's side, but I'm just hazarding a guess there. We'll have him fight one of them. It may be totally off. Commies. I'll put a commie virtually everywhere but the South again. Once more, I think I'll put more socialists. I feel like for every 500 socialists, you find a communist. Of course, I'm thinking in 1964 terms. I'd say the CIA's off their back. Hippies. Let's bring in some hippies. Let's start them out west, shall we? Because if you go to San Francisco, be sure and wear a flower in your hair. Or if you're going to San Francisco. Weather Underground, not quite yet. Socialists. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. We'll make the South, due to its conservatism, not put up with them, I guess. Black Panthers again. They will get more numerous, both in Chicago and California. No offense to their New York branches. Feminists, we'll add some more of them. They've doubled. Inflation during Johnson's. Let's not worry about it yet. Counterculture. We'll double them as well. College elite. No, not yet. Wildfires. Vagrancy. Yeah, we'll add some vagrancy. Where can we put that? Let's put a couple hobos in the South. Hopping trains. Hey Denise, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the politics of 1960 to now. Well, probably not till now tonight, but politics of the 60s and maybe some of the 70s. Pollution? Let's give a hoot. Put that owl right there. You know the owl. You know Smokey Bear too. He's my wildfires representative. Warhawks. Well, now it's more like doves are the problem. So we'll have a dove coming out of Washington. He's like, stop Vietnam, whereas the last one was ramp it up. And Johnson was all too keen to ramp it up. Illegal aliens, we'll let go. Unemployment, sure. We'll add. I mean, I don't want to go too far down the economic woes. those because I don't remember. Not that I was alive then, but I haven't seen where 1964 was. Let's do corporate interest as well. God, we don't have much in the South. I think we're pretty much through the list. Proud Boy, Greenpeace. Well, okay, we can add some more Dixiecrats. Why not? God, it seems like the KKK is getting out of control down there. Well, I mean, they are anytime. It doesn't really matter how many. Gosh, I don't know. Let's put a native activist out there. Yeah, he's got a tomahawk. Leave me alone. Because I like it. Because I admire Native American warriors. Yeah. What you gonna do with that? Oh, we already have crime. Sure, let's add some more labor. They're still pissed about Bobby Kennedy. He's still Attorney General, so this makes sense. $49. Okay, let's see if we have any named character that we could add in there. Like we did with last one, we had Marilyn Monroe. I don't know who it would be for, I'd have it under independent counsel. It's not Jane Fonda, not quite yet. No. Curtis LeMay, no. They're on the same page. Oh, I could. What about a statue of General Lee? You know what I mean? Just to represent that faction of the Democratic Party. It's kind of like he's saying, enough is enough. This is my Democratic Party of circa 1860. And old Lyndon Johnson is like, I can't believe I'm fighting this, but here we are. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We added us a General Lee statue. We'll see him again when it comes time to tear him down, alright? Yeah, Denise, this is Tabs, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. You make your own character, so I made all these little characters. I'll show you some of them better, I guess. You know, well, KKK is the first one to show you, right? Great. Hey, there's the governor from Pocahontas. There's our Robert E. Lee statue. These are our train-hopping hobos. Not to be confused with hose-hopping basement savers. Hey, you'll like this one. Here's the Hamburglar. Well, he represents crime. Everybody's got their eyes closed. They all begin to match that way. Here's the Give a Hoot, Don't Pollute mascot. Kind of worried about legacy media. This lightning thing. This is where I'm really worried about the balancing. That's where I want to make sure the administration has 3 candidates. And so our heroes in this, since Denise just joined, are President Lyndon B. Johnson, his vice president, Mr. Hubert Humphrey of Minnesota, and Bobby Kennedy, one of the remnants of Camelot, is hanging in there. Even though he don't get along with the POTUS. Let's do it. They're splitting up, which is interesting. Or no, they're not. Bobby just made a right turn. He said, we going to Chicago? Let's go to Chicago. OBJ's, oh, let's get them Yanks. That's not how he talked. Denise says, I'm okay though. I pulled a hamstring in my left leg, so I can't walk. Ow. I'm still going to work, but with accommodations. Cannot go on ladders, no stooping, bending, or squatting for a week. All I can see on screen. Oh, no. How long has that been the case? Since my break. I'm glad you were watching, Denise. Thank you. Okay, so there's our LBJ. Yeah, that's been up since my break, which was probably 10 minutes ago. Hubert Humphrey came down to the South, which seems right. He wants to get rid of that. He wants to get rid of the racist aspect of the Democratic Party, right? But he is for Vietnam, and the peace dove ain't having it. Fuck, he picked him up. I didn't even know I gave him that. Dude. Humphrey's getting torn up. Oh, the KKK is jumping him now. He needs help. Oh, no good. Humphrey is down. And now they're moving in on LBJ and Bobby Kennedy. Over here we have Kennedy. He's fighting a feminist. And it's not the Bobby Kennedy. It's not, it's not that any of these people would be against feminism. It's just the activists of the time that they have to fight, right? Besides, they're part of the establishment. They're the man, whether they sympathize or not. Damn. Okay, Kennedy runs the risk of falling into the water. If he can get back up, do it. Oh, no. Oh. Holy shit, dude, you did it. And you're dead now. Yeah, he's pretty much out. LBJ has moved down to the south. President's getting jumped by hippies, Black Panthers, communists, and feminists. He's like, you're supposed to be my constituents. And they're like, we know you don't stand for what we stand for. That's it. I think, quite appropriately, the LBJ administration lost. Quite appropriately. They do all look drunk. It's very ragdoll. How old is this game? Probably 2018 or something like that. It's definitely an indie game. That's just, they walk, yeah. They're very, I think they're called wobblers, is what you call each character in it. It's called a wobbler. The thing I like about it is just being able to customize them. And then I've kind of had some fun with the balancing. Robert E. Lee went and hid in the Gulf of America. Yeah, they win. Good. Mom would be proud. She hated LBJ. My mom is she's a lifelong Democrat. Only voted for one Republican. And for president anyway. And yeah. I was telling her about this documentary I watched where, from very good sources, extremely good sources, the sources were Billy Graham and Walter Mondale. Both said that, and this was in Billy Graham's diary, which was released after he died. They said that LBJ preferred that Nixon win in 1968 because he was so fed up with his party, kind of, because his coalition fell apart and they started turning on him and trying to run for president instead of him, that he confided in them that he thought it best if Nixon won. I don't care what your politics are, if you side with one person or the other, or one party or the other, but when the guy in charge of your party wants the opposition to win, that's... No one could be grateful for that, but yeah, so she hated him too. Ever wonder how many turds you're offending by playing this right now? Well, yeah, luckily I don't get enough viewers to merit worrying about those types. You know, but you're right. I did think that about like putting Black Panthers in the game, KKK in the game, like, but I don't care. I mean, it's American history. What you gonna do? Get mad that I brought it up, right? Let's see, where are we now? Oh, we've got a foreign policy. This is the last part with 1964. It's going to be LBJ's foreign policy. I don't know who I'll put him against. I have options. I think I do know who I'll put him against. Who'd I have? I had JFK fight Fidel Castro. I will certainly have LBJ fight Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh of North Vietnam. South Vietnam are allies, right? They had a few presidents. Well, so did the North. Ho Chi Minh died eventually. But you could watch interviews with the presidents of South Vietnam if you can understand what they're saying. They don't speak too well. At least not English, right? Ho Chi Minh did. He'll even talk to you about the Founding Fathers and how what we're doing in Vietnam is wrong, so... It's a mess. It's a mess. That's all I can say. And I'm not saying I agree with Ho Chi Minh either. Well, on certain things, clearly, I guess I did, but... do we give him a Vietnamese soldier? I think so. North Vietnamese Army. We'll give him one. Oh, LBJ won't be able to do this. Phoenix says, I wonder if my mom watched that same LBJ documentary, even though she didn't like him. She really enjoyed it. She may have, yeah. I mean, well, actually, what I watched was more about Reverend Billy Graham and the stuff he knew about politics and how he talked to presidents from both parties. Like, he would leave playing golf with, LBJ, and then he'd go straight to have dinner with Richard Nixon. And he always carried messages, or often carried messages, between the two and more, Eisenhower, etc. Like, there was a little rift. There was a perceived rift between Nixon and Eisenhower. Eisenhower at one point said, Dick, what if you're no longer my vice president? What if you ran for governor of California, or maybe just took an appointment role, like I could make you a cabinet member? And Dick Nixon was like, no thanks, I'd like to be vice president. And he kind of walked away from that thinking like, shit, the dude just tried to get rid of me? Billy Graham cleared that up between them, because he went to Nixon and said, according to Eisenhower, no. He was saying maybe you should go get executive experience, that way you can run for president more effectively yourself. It's just funny. Hi, Bill. You can't sleep? I gotta find out what my boy is saying real quick. A peacemaker, I think. Because even with the, the LBJ wanting Nixon to win, he was carrying those messages between Nixon and LBJ. And so for him, I feel like he probably thought he was in a healing position, that he was bringing two sides together. Now, if you were, if you were an avid Democrat, though, so that would be little consolation. You would think, like, wow, still, I feel like I got betrayed. And that's valid. I would have voted Nixon, but it's valid. It's good to understand where folks are coming from. I'm gonna leave this playing for a second and find out what my son's doing up. But we're gonna have to go back to bed at some point, okay? Yeah. Okay. So what happened? Nothing. OBJ's kind of getting it handed to him again. Yeah, Denise, was your mom a Democrat, or was she then? I mean, if Ho Chi Minh wins this, it's fine. Makes sense. Yeah. There it is. What were you gonna do? Are you gonna win Vietnam? Probably should have elected Goldwater back then. Let's see. Phoenix says, no, I'm glad you're playing. I love history, even though I have memory issues and can't remember half of what I learned. That's why I can't remember things in my daily life, because I remember people like Henry Cabot Lodge, you know? So I don't know, especially when somebody could just Google it. Right. Now, see, Mom thought a lot of Billy Graham, Phoenix says. Although after his death, folks came out and tried to say, oh, that's a huge accusation. Grapes. Kind of pissed me off. Yeah, I mean, like, I always think, prove it. Prove it. I need overwhelming proof. I'm sick of slinging accusations and people, like, eating that. Swallowing it hook, line, and sinker. And I get why older people get so cranky, because you just see how incessant it is, and it goes on. And then a decade later, it happens again. A decade later again, and you're like, we will never learn. It's funny. Anyhow, says, Denise says, no, Mom has always been Republican, but Grandma was a Democrat. Ah, gotcha. Well, far be it from a Republican to also hate LBJ. Right, need proof for sure. I agree. So that works. Vietnam was a quagmire. And so LBJ loses that. And do we go on? I think we do. 1968. Collapse of the coalition. This coalition has been strong since FDR. Of course, our game didn't go back that far. Started with Kennedy and Humphrey, I think, but Kennedy and Nixon. But here's where it all falls apart. People are turning on LBJ for a variety of reasons, but I think none more so than Vietnam. And in 68, the daggers come out. The Democrats are like getting stir crazy and finally getting to the point where, look, we gotta do something about this president of ours. And so, I guess what better place to take the collapse of the coalition to the front fucking yard of the White House. So when I say the Democrats are falling apart, I think it would be best illustrated by, like, we'll do primary fights between the president and let's go with Eugene McCarthy. He's moderate. He just started saying, hey, we need to stop with Vietnam. We need to get the hell out of there. He didn't just start saying it. No, Bobby Kennedy just started saying it. And Eugene McCarthy's like, hey, I've been saying that for a while. And they're like, aren't you sick of this Johnson? And he said, you're Johnson? No. Yours? No. No, you know what I'm talking about. There it is. And Johnson's like, wait, you guys? Kennedy falls flat on his face there for some reason. Johnson tries his clumsy attack. It doesn't work. So Senator McCarthy and well, he's a senator now, Senator Kennedy. Oh. It's going to make me seem like a bad parent because you're going to think, gee, pay attention to your son, but at the same time, it's 1:30 in the morning, Billy. What are we doing? What do you want to... What's up? You should go to bed, probably, right? Yeah, but buddy, it's 1:30. It's not like you slept in super late. You need to at least go try to get some sleep. And all I can tell you is it's super late. You should be in bed. Doesn't sound like you're sick or anything. Got too much energy. What can I do for you? What? Well, I'm screaming right now. I'll do that. I think it's super late. Sorry, bud. Sorry, should have muted my mic. Just realized. You probably caught that whole thing. He is 8. He is getting tall. But yeah, he did this last night, and I let him stay up for probably an hour and a half. And we're not going to have that become a thing, you know? I don't need to justify myself to YouTube, right? Let's see. He is having trouble, yeah, but it's, you know, we gotta, can't, letting him stay up all night isn't gonna fix it. Plus, God, I think I let him stay up till 11:30 at night anyways, tonight. They do grow up fast, but though it does seem like he's been 8 for a while. It's weird. I'm not sure how to explain it. Okay, so for the next one, let's do Eugene McCarthy versus who's it going to be? Bobby Kennedy. Wait, weren't they just on the same side? That's right. Eugene McCarthy's like, since when have you been against the Vietnam War? And Bobby's like, I'm against it now, and I'm also more charismatic than you. And now they're like, not cool with each other. I'm telling you, the Great Society is splintering. Of course, McCarthy doesn't stand a chance. He's down and Bobby Kennedy's on the rise. Probably best represented in the primaries there. You know, where was his last victory? Was oh, it was California, wasn't it? Zero says, I get it. I take 3 meds for sleeping myself. We used to give him, what do you call those? Melatonin. Is that what it is? The little gummies? But too much of that and your body doesn't produce melatonin, so you don't want to make that a nightly thing. Zero says, I'm okay, just a bit sick today in my gut. That's always a nasty feeling, but good otherwise. Alright. So where are we now? Okay. I think we'll move locations to the normal primary concern level. And we're still going to be fighting that out amongst the Democrats. Let's see, Hubert Humphrey versus... Well, let me tell you what just happened there. We'll put it this way. LBJ, from his perception, got betrayed by his party, the people that were just getting stir-crazy. For God's sakes, did not want LBJ to run for, again, anyways. LBJ's done. He's had enough. He's out. He said, y'all are on your own. I'll quietly support Nixon. Honestly, apparently that is what he thought. Hubert Humphrey is his vice president. Right now, he's like, that was shit going down his leg. He's like, what just happened? I thought we were all on the same side, and now the president doesn't even care. I guess I'm going to go out there and try to defend the establishment against the likes of Bobby Kennedy and Eugene McCarthy. And George Wallace, for that matter. I guess I didn't put him in there yet. So let's pull out our Hubert Humphrey. And we're going to put him... First, we'll see what would happen, him versus Kennedy. And then I think that'll be the last fight we put Bobby Kennedy in, unfortunately. Look at them. They're wearing the same uniform. It's sad to see. Actually, Humphrey is tearing Bobby Kennedy up, so, okay. I didn't expect that. That's okay, it's closer than I thought, but I still think Humphrey might take it. Come on, Kennedy. Upset the establishment, just like real life here. Oh well. Either way, as soon as Kennedy took the California primary, he was shot to death that night. Because that's how we do in these here United States, unfortunately. Killed by a man named Sirhan, who, on the one hand, says he doesn't remember doing it. On the other hand, said he did it because Senator Bobby Kennedy wanted to sell like 27 jet fighters to Israel. So that fight's not new. We're going to put George Wallace of the Dixiecrats up against Hubert Humphrey. George is still running as much segregation as he could possibly muster. Segregation in my soup, segregation in my car, segregation at the hair salon. That's what he's screaming. As Humphrey's like, aren't we done with you yet? Wallace is like, let me have a shot at LBJ. And Humphrey wins. as it should be. I think that's it. I think, yeah, I think Humphrey's our guy. It's 1968, and Humphrey will be running against, let's see, who is Nixon running against in a primary? That's right, folks, Nixon's back. And I think he gets primaried. Zero says, yes, melatonin, I take it every night. I like melatonin, hydroxyzine for sleep, plus prazosin, a blood pressure med that affects night terrors. Damn. It's made for blood pressure, but it was also used for night terrors with people like me. I see. Hey, if it works for you. I just, and it's not like we won't give it to him ever again. It's just like very, actually, maybe I give him one tonight now that I think about it. If we still have any. George Romney? Is that who Nixon would be primaried by? Boy, it's 1968. It is going to be George Romney, Mitt Romney's dad. George Romney was the governor of Michigan, I believe. So this primary contest, brought to you by Fritos, begins now. Let's take a look at Shredder, or George Romney. Romney, much like Rockefeller, and much like Mitt Romney, represents the liberal wing of the Republican Party, which still exists in the Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, well, not so much Romney anymore, right? But still exists in that camp. Very few of them, but they are there. Nixon's coming on with 2 butcher blades. And he's like, I've been kind of liberal. No, he hasn't. He hasn't been president yet. Scratch that. Oh, damn. Something happened to Romney there. I think he had a stroke. I hope he didn't pass due to a stroke. That would have been poorly worded then. Google that, and then let me down in the comments. Be like, yep, you caught it. Nixon wins. Zero says, I do recall even my doctor said to take small breaks from... Okay, cool. And then I'd hoped the person that was telling me about that was right. Well, yeah, there's that too. A tolerance to virtually anything, right? Denise says, my leg is okay feeling now, but that's only because I'm pumped up on meds. Oh, hell, we're all on drugs, damn it. So we've whittled it down. We'll move on to the vice presidential contest, but our nominees are, or our 2 political candidates are, for the Democrats, Vice President Hubert Humphrey versus former Vice President Richard Nixon. As to their vice presidential picks, let's deal with that, and we'll try this level, political sparring. I do have to jog my memory here. So the first time Nixon ran, it was Henry Cabot Lodge was his vice presidential pick. This time it's going to be Spiro Agnew. Hubert Humphrey will pick... I've got to look. Because I don't remember. Hold on. It'll come to me. Who did he pick? Shriver was McGovern. Edmund Muskie. That's who he picked. I can't tell you much about Edmund Muskie. I think he was from New York. I might be wrong about that. I remember he had something much later in his political career when he cried, and so he got a hard time over that. I do know that from watching documentaries of him and stuff, he liked to go fly fishing. And that's funny when your name's Muskie, when you have the name of a fish. So, we will have Spiro Agnew representing the Republicans versus Edmund Muskie representing the Democrats. Spiro Agnew, I want to say, is the governor of Massachusetts or Maryland. Fuck, I don't remember. Let's take a look at them. Edmund Muskie. Spiro Agnew. I know, it's Spiro the Dragon, right? Kinda. Denise, oh, I see. Explaining to Zero the hamstring. Better living through chemistry, I always say. Better living through chemistry. I didn't even know I did it. The pain just came out of nowhere. Yeah. So I went to the ER last night. Ow, man. I didn't realize you had to go that far. Well, I hope it gets better soon. Yeah, likewise. It's been a humbling experience. Denise says you never know how much you use those muscles. You can't use them. One thing I can relate to is I had like lower back issues when I was about 40 years old. That was tough, like psychologically. Like for several months, I was not too thrilled. Not because I just kind of thought like, is this just the way it's going to be from now on unless I do some kind of surgery? But chiropractor, stretching, being more active, all that helped. Denise says, I try not to take anything for granted, but sometimes we do without realizing it. Well, I know that's right. Yeah. That's just it. There's a lot of stuff we do take for granted. They're at it. Edmund Muskie has fallen. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Spiro Agnew is eating Edmund Muskie. He's devouring him. He's eating him. Muskie hasn't started crying yet, but I wonder if the tears would enhance the flavor to a staunch Republican like Agnew. I bet it does. Oh well, he's not crying yet. So now we see that Nixon brought a frickin' dragon with him. Let's take it to the main event. Nixon versus Humphrey. Who will win? Do you know who won in real life? Between Hubert Humphrey and Richard Nixon? I suspect you do. Sight unseen. Oh, it's better now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Honestly. It was just, I'll never forget how selfishly scared I was at that time. You know what I mean? And it was very humbling experience is right, and taking things for granted is right. Like, I'm sure everybody's got that battle. You know what I mean? To some extent. You're about 40. How old are you, Otto? I thought you were close to my age, like 44. You just made... No, I'm 48. So yeah, not too much older than you. Yeah, I'm essentially, yeah, I'm Denise's age. She was born in 77 as well. Year the badasses. Whatever you were born, it was cool too. But no, all right. Let's plop down Richard Nixon. Versus Hubert Humphrey. Huh. Nixon's got his second chance here, you know? And for Humphrey, it's kind of like, it's time, man. It's time. If it wasn't for LBJ and Jack Kennedy, Humphrey could have already been president. Well, it's high time that he shows this lackey of the old general what's up. Meanwhile, that lackey's already crossed the midway point, bearing down on him with 2 butcher blades. It's like the American people need to know if their president's a crook, and I am not a crook. Oh, Humphrey gets a couple good blows in there. If Nixon gets off another special move like he just did, maybe? He did. Humphrey's about finished. Oh. Humphrey's like, I'm not going that easy. I'm going this easy. Godspeed, Hubert. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Nixon is our new president. And we'll have to have him face the nation. That's what we'll call that segment, right? That'll be the face the nation part. Something like that. Oh, thanks, Denise. Just to see if it could trigger no. Zero says, okay, because you sounded much older the way you said that, so I had to ask. Oh, I don't blame you for asking. Yeah. Age is just a number. I still feel like a 20-year-old, except for the unexplained pains. Then he says Gen X is the best. We ain't bad. We do all right. Zero says I may have been born in 81, but I claim Gen X because our teacher in grade school told us that we were her last Gen X class to come through. Huh? There you go. You're just going off of your teacher. Who else does society expect you to go off of? So I'll claim the Gen X till the day I die. Or the day I go by the version where Gen X ended in 83. Oh, okay. And I, as you can see, I just added till the day I die. I do that. I finish people's sentences for them, right? Yet that timeline is accurate. All right, so I know I have my screen up because I'm going to grab another quick puff. We might get out of the 60s tonight. Be cool. I'd be all right with getting up into 72, but we still have to deal with the Nixon administration. So that'll mean his face the nation and his foreign policy thing. Remind me that I've got Jane Fonda in there to cause a stir. Gary says, in my college government class, I had to do a paper on Nixon using lonely biographies as my source. I have to say he was actually a good president. I agree with your opinion on that. That's my opinion as well, that he was not a bad president. For me, it takes a lot to actually be a bad president, though. Like, but then again, I don't want to diminish like Nixon's accomplishments because that makes it sound like, well, it takes a lot. No, I mean opening up trade with China, a lot of like hell, the EPA, he did try to draw back Vietnam, but he also widened the war by going into Cambodia. So I don't know, it's nuanced, right? But he was more liberal than people assume. And I know, like earlier in this video, I said it. I attributed some of that to his getting primaried by Nelson Rockefeller and having this kind of sort of famous meeting with Rockefeller to kind of unite the Republicans. I almost feel like I wonder if behind closed doors Rockefeller was like, "You've got to take some of my platforms and go with them, be it like affirmative action or EPA or whatever." Right? No, you read that right. I just forgot to write die. So you read what I meant to type. Nice. Nice. Denise says, I always remember baby boomers because the numbers revert. Oh, 46 to 64, huh? Huh. If it's me to type day instead of die. Me, my fat fingers. For some reason, I've always liked Nixon, but I have no idea why. Because I feel like I don't know much about him. I think he's a complicated man. I think in terms of vice, maybe he drank a little. He was a hell of a piano player. There's a pianist, right? There's a video of him playing some kind of piece that's just, it's striking because it's Richard Nixon. I think that slight that I mentioned earlier, where when Eisenhower suggested that he not be vice president for the second term, that perceived slight is interesting to me. It's interesting as it speaks to both of those people. That Eisenhower was kind of trying to look out for him, and Nixon took it the wrong way. I do think Nixon, I don't know, Watergate. There's part of me that wants to say it's overblown, but there's the other part of me, like, if we get to 1972, when George Wallace gets shot, and that whole situation's very fluid still, Nixon says, is there any chance, or would it be possible to get somebody to break into Arthur Bremer, the attempted assassin, to break into his house and put some of my political opponents' propaganda in there, like put some George McGovern stuff around Arthur Bremer's apartment. He was told, no, we can't do that. And he moved on, but like, to me, that was kind of bigger than Watergate in a way. I just feel like, well, there's just a mere suggestion on tape coming from him is, but that's Dick Nixon, and he's not the first one to do it. I feel like they all did shit like that. It's just the media was really against him at the time, and they were going to scrutinize like never before, kind of thing. I don't know. All I got is opinions, right? Perhaps because the mystery that surrounds him to a certain extent. Yeah, I could see that. Gary says the big problem with Watergate, Nixon should not have tried to hide it and gotten out in front of it. I agree. He should have thrown the G. Gordon Liddy and the rest of the plumbers under the bus right away. Instead, and what is that? Is he just protecting his people? At the end, he is, because that thing I said about him being a butcher, the reason I gave him the 2 butcher blades, that I had to cut off my right arm, and I did, and then I cut off my left, and I'm not a good butcher. Seems like at that point it was certainly his the way he felt about them. Anyhow, little sentiment towards Nixon there. I am going to grab a puff. How long is this number? Alright, there's that. I've still got the screen up. Okay, be right back. If you can tolerate the break, I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Let's see. We're in 1968. We're doing Face the Nation with Richard Nixon, right? Okay. Just wanted to remember where I was at. Let me take the logo down and load up the US. No. Okay. We start with the line settings. Red inside, blue outside. Okay. Let's see who we've got from the Nixon administration. And let's get our romantic music back. Yep, Republicans. We'll have Nixon. We'll have them facing south. Give the scholars their credence with the Southern strategy, I suppose. We'll put his trusty dragon, Spiro Agnew, in there. Where are you at? There you are. See if he can eat some people. He needs a third, and I do think Nelson Rockefeller or George Romney would be fine. It's his first term, so yeah, let's do Nelson Rockefeller. And now let's discuss Nixon's enemies. If only he had a list. Oh, wait a minute. All right, let's get some governors out there. Nope. That song, eh? What's up, bud? You still can't go to sleep? Let's try a gummy. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Alright, folks. Be right back. If we have one, I don't know if we do. I don't remember if we ran out. Don't get me wrong. Try again, okay? Huh? Okay. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Gary says he's gonna let the dogs out last time before bed as well. Right on. Well, sleep well, my friend, and thank you for coming by. Always a pleasure. Okay, let's see who we got in terms of the people. No Proud Boys, no Greenpeace. Dixiecrats, indiscretion. Well, Dixiecrats are still a thing. Let's give them a couple. I mean, they're not going to be as much of a problem for Nixon. Just because they're getting sick of the Democrats. I know that some people try to paint it like, oh, well, Nixon got... he appealed to them, right? No, I think that just the main Democrat... I think the Hubert Humphreys of the Democratic Party and the Jack Kennedys pissed them off. And if they couldn't have their old Southern Party, then they were going to vote other ways. In other words, with what the Democrats were doing, I don't think Nixon had to try too hard. After all, he wasn't George Wallace. He wasn't Barry Goldwater, you know? Which I think he'd have stronger evidence with Goldwater in terms of Southern strategy. Let's do some native activists. Actually, I didn't see how they did last time. Evangelicals? No. Crime? Yep. He's a president of law and order. So let's give him some criminal element. And there it is, law and order. Like, some may tell you that's a dog whistle. Some may say, no, it's called law and order. I'm not too fond of the dog whistle argument. I feel like, well, anyhow, we'll put a plumber in there. That's not going to be a big problem for him yet, but it will be the second time. The plumbers are what they called they were the ones in the administration that fixed leaks. So on the inside, they called them the plumbers. And it'll be like G. Gordon Liddy and these types, right? The types that were like physically responsible for the break-in of the Watergate Hotel. Called them plumbers because they'll fix the leaks, right? They weren't good plumbers. What do you want, right? I mean, or maybe they were good before they got caught. We'll throw a few communists in there. We won't put the CIA in. We will put hippies in. Hippies will be gaining some power. Actually, let's just put one in each, except for the South. Because they don't put up with no hippies. Almost at the halfway point. We have 24. Weather Underground. Let's put them in the east and north. Socialists. And I think that's another reason why folks would think that Nixon was so conservative, is the way he talked about communists and socialists and all the other things. Or to think, like, I think there is this line of thought that leads people to bigotry, small or large, is a conservative thing. Like, I just think, like, there's the wrong thing to grade it with. But, let's see, Blue Dog, Socialist, Evangelical, Anarchist. Does anybody want anarchy yet? Not yet. Black Panthers, yeah. Yep. We'll get some credence to the east with some Black Panthers out there. Feminists, yep. Counterculture for sure. We even put one in the South. It looks weird next to the KKK. I think my counterculture rep is a black woman, so that's strange, but she's a tough gal. If she could turn on him, she would, but it's not a mechanic. College elite? Let's try one out. Did I have him fight labor? He ought to be. It's going to be a lot up in Chicago. We'll even put a little labor down in the South. Vagrancy, why not? Actually, not Proud Boys. That's a little later, ain't it? The Doves. We'll give them 2 doves, even though, man, that last round. Actually, we'll just give them 1. I don't think it needs to be coming from the South. We'll have it come from fucking out of nowhere. There we go. It'll actually approach. Thank you. Good to be back. Let's see. We only have 1 more, and I need to put Jane Fonda in there. So let's do that. That's going to be independent counsel. There she is. We'll have her coming from California. Actually, she'll come in with the Peace Hawk. Double whammy. That's 50 of them. Let the battle begin. Let's go see our contenders first. President Nixon. Now I'll explain the armor. It's got that Asian thing because of his trip to China, opening up trade with China. Spiro Agnew, the dragon. He eats people. And then representing the purple, the moderate, the liberal, Rockefeller. Quick glance at the North. The East. I got to do more with the South next time. And Jane Fonda. Nixon's heading straight south. He does have a southern strategy after all. Oh, special move. Dang. Oh, but Jane Fonda's got a... Oh, no. He took out Fonda and the Dove. Yeah, he has widened the war to other parts of Indochina. Oh my. Not that taking out Jane Fonda was a prereq for that, but doesn't hurt. Ooh, that was close. Could have ended up in the Pacific there. I want to see the rest of it. I want to see how Spiro Agnew's doing, but you know what? I think Spiro Agnew's been defeated already. This is tricky. Nixon might do his special move and end up in the water. Did he just... No. Okay. I was going to say, did he just do that? He's fighting the communists. Oh no. Oh no. He's not going to path around that. Well, let's go see how Nelson Rockefeller of all people is doing. He's doing okay in the Northwest. Kind of surprising. What's happening with Nixon? Hold on. We're getting him out of here. He's got to go slow, because if he falls over, that'll happen. We can't have that happen. Come on, you got this. It's tricky, but you're tricky, Dick. Alright, we're good. Let's get him back up on the map, and then I'll leave him alone. I won't intervene any further. Since it is Nixon, I feel like I can cheat a little. But I'll get out in front of it. Okay. Oh no, I killed it. Son of a bitch. Well, restart. Sorry. I had the screen up anyways, didn't I? No, I didn't. Well, damn. Jane and Dove down early. Who would have expected such a decisive decision? Oh, man. Oh, shit. That Dove picked up somebody, dragged him over the Gulf of Mexico, and dropped him in. I imagine that was Nixon. I don't think the administration is going to come out of this one. It's just fun watching Spiro Agnew, though. He might be my favorite. The way he had that other dude hanging out of his mouth. Oh, the Dove is trying to carry Spiro. It's not going to happen, though. Oh, he's low on health. But I mean, he just eats folks. Oh. Yeah, over this time Fonda's lasting. That's because she didn't have to face off with Nixon. I don't like it. I feel like knocking Nixon out. I hate to have another redo, especially after I screwed up the first one. But I want them to have a chance. He did it again, this time in the Gulf, right? Although I swear the bird carried him out there and dropped him. Which has to just be coincidence, because I don't think it's programmed to do that, right? Agnew can't eat these guys fast enough, unfortunately. That's it. He's done. That leaves Rockefeller in Lake Michigan. And if he falls over, he drowns. Damn. It's over. I don't like it. I want to try again. I feel like I need to move Nixon so he stays with his boys. Denise says this game is hilarious. They all look drunk trying to have an orgy. And Gary says that has to be one of the best descriptions of this game. Gulf of America. Did Otto say Gulf of Mexico? Hey, it's what? What year is it? 19. Well, it's between 68 and 72. We know that. All right. So if I move Nixon a little bit, maybe he doesn't focus on the South, or maybe he needs a new Southern strategy. Let's do this. Alright, get Spiro right next to him. And I guess Nelson Rockefeller. Let's try this. Now that's the Southern strategy. A dragon's the best, though. Just nobody end up in the water. Okay, Rockefeller. No, Nixon, get out of there, Nixon. Thank you. Agnew just fell in the water. And he's done. The dragon is dead. Nixon just ended up in the water. Oh, the communists threw that bomb. There's nothing for it, folks. It's a rough one. There's no beating that 50. Not with those guys. It's interesting though. Oh well, that's the way it goes. Like I said, it's not balanced, especially when I'm picking 50 opponents. Albeit, I mean, I know they're all a lot weaker, but we need to do Nixon's foreign policy. We'll do that in a level called Echo Chamber. And you can place the fighters in these spots, which is kind of nice. Let's see. I could put him up against Ho Chi Minh again. We have options. Kim Jong-un, nope. Manuel Noriega. Kim Jong-il, nope. Bin Laden. Putin. Ayatollah Khomeini. Too early for him. I'm thinking Ho Chi Minh. Brezhnev. Khrushchev. Yeah, okay, we'll do Khrushchev. I guess. I don't know. We'll give him a Soviet soldier. We'll give him 2. Since Nixon, I don't know. Since he did so well on the Face the Nation. Let's get down there in the cave. Here comes Nixon. Moving at a good clip, as he does. The Soviets are waiting. Damn Nixon. Not good. I shouldn't have given him 2 soldiers. Come on. Foreign policy has to be good. There you go. Without his special move, he's not going to be able to, you know. He dealt with Khrushchev, but he would need to have... Yeah. He didn't bring down the whole Soviet Union. There isn't. That was rough. Indeed. If I go back and do some rebalancing, I need to... Especially in Nixon's first term, he has to have a better time of it. If he loses the second term, that seems wholly appropriate. But dang. And I'll tell you who it wasn't. It wasn't Jane Fonda. She's not the one that tipped the tide. It does seem like that piece, though, just the fact that it picks you up and drops you is... That's rough. Well, there it is. Let me check the time. Oh, I got a half an hour. I don't know. Like, honestly... ...1972 is next. It's not as crazy as 68, because obviously, like we kind of discussed, you saw LBJ's coalition, the Great Society coalition, crumble, which in many senses was the same coalition that FDR helped create, you know. So that was a big one, where you had McCarthy versus Bobby Kennedy versus Hubert Humphrey versus George Wallace versus many more that I did not include. I mean, it was really like a democratic civil war. I see some similarities. Like, it's weird, like our last election cycle. It's funny. Maybe I'll talk on that more like when we get there. Who knows? But God, I have half an hour. Do I want to get into the Governor 72? Hey, we got out of the 60s if I don't. Yeah, that's right. They had the two guys instead of just the one. That's a lot of people. It's a huge country, right? And Khrushchev's one thing. I should have given him backup. I should have given him Spiro. You know what? Fucking take it back. I think you're onto something there. Nixon needed his dragon. Let's do it. I was gonna call this level Purple Mountain's Majesty, but I still think that's a better name. Yeah, Khrushchev wasn't the problem. It was the two guys. I really think, like, I could handle that in a number of ways. I could stick with the formula that I already had, where, like, Khrushchev only gets one bodyguard. But I do like Gary's point that, like, yeah, well, they have a lot of manpower. But if I were to give him two bodyguards, then we put the dragon in there. Because Spiro Agnew only happens once. Because the second time you try to make him happen, he gets caught on embezzlement charges. It's true, right? Or taking bribes or something. I forget what they got him for. Okay, so Republicans, Nixon. It's a tough level for Nixon, because he'll go off with. Think about that. Oh well. It's gonna be a cakewalk with his dragon there. In fact, we'll put the dragon in front. There's a meat shield. Dude. It's just not going to happen. I don't think Nixon can deflect the bullets. For some reason, Kennedy could. Which still is really dark humor, in my opinion. Is wrong, though. It's... Get him, Spiro. Where'd Nixon go? Did he jump off the ledge or something? Oh, that Soviet was out of ammo or something. He's just like... Oh, and there's Nixon. Okay. He probably did a special move that sent him off that way. Huh? You're right, Denise. That was what it took. I feel much better about that too. What's Nixon doing? Just hanging out by the tree. There we go. That's how you do successful foreign policy. I still kind of didn't think they had it. For a second, I thought they lost. But alright. Well, we will start 72. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. If I want to keep this under a certain amount of time. 1972, the summer of McGovern. That would be George McGovern. George McGovern is Bernie Sanders before there was a Bernie Sanders. And I know political historians would be like, shame on you for saying that. You know that's not totally true. But it's a totally thing where I'm like, yeah, but so you know it's kind of true. George McGovern wanted a universal basic income. To me, that is of a socialist strain, obviously. And so there, I think, is one of the comparisons. I don't know. I think the comparisons are obvious, but the more you delve into a subject, the more ignorant of it you realize you are. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you have a cursory knowledge of something, you feel like you're an expert. And then once you start digging into it, you actually start trying to become an expert. That's when you're like, crap, there's a lot more information and nuance and diverging opinions than I ever imagined. And now that I know 10% of it, I feel like I only know 1%. I hope that makes sense. It's a paradox. This music makes McGovern sound really bad. Well, we got to start with the primaries. Denise says, good job. Well done, Nixon. Denise applauds you. Below, the one dressed like Barney. It's Spyro the Dragon. Spyro the Dragon. I swear the sounds he makes when he's eating the other people is hilarious. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, we will start with the Democratic primary. It's 1972, so Hubert Humphrey versus George McGovern. And I think that really boils down the primaries. There was more than that. McGovern was a dark horse. People didn't really expect him, but he got that grassroots effort. The young Democratic voter. You might remember how I said, like, you had Eugene McCarthy and Bobby Kennedy both like, maybe we should get out of Vietnam. We're against Vietnam now. And there was a little bit of like, hey, but you didn't used to be against it. And Humphrey wants to be against it, probably, but he's also the vice president, so he can't be against it. George McGovern has always been against it. So, like, there's another comparison. I kind of think George McGovern was an honest man. I just totally, his politics might turn a lot of people off. It's funny. Well, let's see if McGovern's supposed to win here, but let's see if Humphrey can do it. And let's take a look at McGovern while we got the chance. As you can see, a bit of a Robin Hood motif. Fits in nicely with the remnant Camelot gear that Humphrey is wearing. Not that it's really part of Camelot. A peripheral character, right? Come on, Humphrey. Not Humphrey. Come on. Come on, George McGovern. Oh well, Humphrey may have won. New rule though. We're actually going by the votes. We're counting it the right way now. So No, I don't know. Something like that happened. There was the McGovern Commission that basically said, like, hey, the Democrats have been rigging everything behind closed doors this entire time, since our founding. And thanks to the McGovern Commission, they changed the way it was done, where I don't know the full details of it, but it offered the Democratic voters a more free, fair election than prior. How's that going for you? But you know what I mean. Like, it was a different calculus, and it led to McGovern, even though we just saw the inverse of that. Let's turn to the Republicans. I don't know. Let's try Nixon versus George Romney again. I don't remember who would have had the audacity. Oh, you know who would have had the audacity? Ronald Reagan. Our defender is President Nixon. And who's this? Ronald Reagan coming at him from California. Former president of the Screen Actors Guild. Talking smack about the president. I bet Reagan wins, but it doesn't matter. Nixon's our guy. Oh. Maybe not. Reagan's just grabbing him. Okay, yeah, Nixon's got this. This is primary challenger Reagan. I have 2 Reagans. That's how I did the balancing with him. The President Reagan is very reminiscent of A Land of Confusion by Genesis. Think Goldwater was Batman. Okay, so, I mean, and that challenge really happened. Like, Reagan did challenge him. But fortunately for us, and because I created 2 Reagans, Nixon was able to carry the primary. The one, let's see, the one that I hear you, Otto. I feel that a lot. Not that I'm an expert, but the fact I'm not an expert either. But the fact that I don't know the deeper understandings of certain topics. That's exactly what it is. It's like, you know, like you, me, Gary, whoever, you could find a subject and watch a documentary about it and be like, yeah, I could tell you about that. And you would confidently tell somebody about it. And that's cool. That's just the way it works, right? Then you might read a book about it and be like, oh, damn, I don't know the half of it. And I think that's where it's just a weird paradox where, like, I feel like people that have spent time studying something in some cases feel more ignorant of that something than someone that just, you know, watched a 4-minute video. It's very a strange phenomenon, but it speaks to people's level of confidence even when they become professionals. It's strange. I think it was his horrible comb over that turned people off. Are you talking about George McGovern? I think he is. You gotta tell me, are you talking about George McGovern? I'm making it sound like I'm defensive of him. Are you talking about him? Because if so, yeah, I don't think many people would make that joke or understand that joke, but I get it. McGovern did have a crazy comb over, and I never even thought about that. He had like 4 strands of hair that he tried, God bless him. I don't mean to laugh. It's such a joke. I'm sorry. It's just... I mentioned McGovern at work or wherever, and people don't know what I'm talking about, except for the boomers or whatever. It looks like he grabbed his balls. I was about to say Ronald. It did look like Ronald went right for the ball. It's like just grab him by the He's ahead of his time. Somebody will be using that playbook in the distant future. Alright, so that is our Republican primary. Nixon does take it. Have we done... Yeah, we did Democrat. Alright, let's get out of here and do the vice presidential contest. Oh, it's going to be tricky for McGovern. You know what? We're going to have McGovern fight his vice presidential pick. So, let's put up George McGovern again. I know, it's crazy. What do you mean he fights his vice presidential pick, right? And then we're going to put Thomas Eagleton up. So Thomas Eagleton is McGovern's first pick as vice president. Eagleton... Eagleton's got issues, right? But he's got... He suffers from depression. That's basically what it boils down to. He suffers from depression, and that becomes public after he's picked as the vice president. And Democrats freak out because it's like they turn to McGovern like, this hurts our trust in you. We didn't like it anyways, but this hurts it further because you should have vetted this guy. And not only does he say he suffers from depression, he also says that I've actually sought 3 electrotherapy treatments for it, which shakes people's trust even more. Make of that what you will. He, in a different time, in a different place, maybe, I don't know. You probably don't want your executive to be depressed, though, right? It's just kind of one of those things. So now McGovern needs to get rid of Eagleton. And I don't know if he'll be able to. Because Eagleton's shooting electricity. I don't know why McGovern started to float there for a second. Eagleton's doing that to him? Okay, I gave Eagleton a power that I didn't realize I gave him. Alright, well, let's get him out of there. That's my way of explaining the Thomas Eagleton crisis, or scandal. But, you know, truly, the establishment Democrats were not for George McGovern. It was more of a young grassroots thing, and the establishment was like, we are headed towards disaster with this guy. He loses Thomas Eagleton, and he asks like 6 other people to run as his vice president. To a man, they all said no. Finally, he got Sergeant Shriver, Maria Shriver's father, married into the Kennedy family. So he has kind of an ounce of that Camelot going on, and here he is. He will be facing off against our favorite dragon, Spiro Agnew. We've seen Spiro. We won't see much more of him after this. Hey, you can actually see him in there. There he is. Sergeant Shriver's really embracing the Camelot thing. Here we go. Oh! I mean, it's classic knight versus dragon here. And the knight, I think Spiro's actually sucking meat out through the holes in the armor. Yeah. Sorry, Sergeant Shriver. It was cool to see a little Kennedy still. Guess now we've got Ted. This takes us to our main event. He did look like a zombie. I didn't know what he was doing with his hands, and I did not realize he had the power to levitate his enemies. I need to go fix that. Thomas Eagleton was supposed to be one that was easy to beat. I wanted McGovern to beat him. I even wanted Sergeant Shriver to be able to beat him if I wanted to play that out, you know. Not so much. This will bring us to the main event. of 1972. There is something I left out. George Wallace should have had a crack at it again. This is, I believe, the year that he gets shot by Arthur Bremer. But I should have put him in there. Still could, but I'm not going to. Because we're on the main event. So, you know, from at least if you only know what I've told you, I'm sure some of you know more. But if all you have is what you've heard so far, you know, you've essentially got the Democrats saying we're walking into catastrophe. George McGovern can't carry this. He shouldn't be our nominee. Hubert Humphrey should be our nominee again. And frankly, they're just not supporting him. It's bad. So what kind of election, or what kind of election will that create here? Can you get? I mean, I suppose you know that we didn't have a president to govern. But this was one of the big sweeps. I think McGovern carried his home state, and I think he got something out of the District of Columbia. Certainly, it's something you could Google, but it was a blowout. It was not even contest. Kind of similar to the Goldwater thing. And you know, I think I forgot to mention this with Kennedy versus Nixon. That's a pretty tight election. I think if somebody didn't know any better, they would just assume that JFK beat Nixon hands down. No. I propose that if Kennedy did beat him that soundly, I don't know that you'd see the return of Nixon after LBJ's run. Diz, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Sorry that I fell a little bit behind. Ant leg stapled to his forehead. Wait, what? Okay, I see. I've been listening to a while now, quietly, but that was funny as hell. Good to see you, man. Meanwhile, Denise went to look up pics of George McGovern's come over. The fuck is this game? It's Tab's Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. You can pretty much create arenas and create combatants and give them moves. They all move kind of janky, kind of wobbly. For me, obviously, I decided on the political motif. Get my political history fix. And I've got them going. I mean, if you see me scroll through the politicians, I mean, shoot. Yeah, you'll see Elon Musk. You'll see Paula Jones. You'll see Oliver North needs to go in there, to be honest, but I haven't made him yet. Good, chilling, having some devil's lettuce. Nice. About to start doing a little work on me. Don't stop. On me, don't shop. In today's day and age, it would be a badge of honor, and you would be shamed to go against him. How did I miss that one earlier? Oh, yeah, no, okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I agree. That's why I started to say, like, you know, in today's age, but then I thought, no, you would not want a depressed executive. But then again, the way things go, I don't know. You might get to... Someone might try to reason to you that you do want one. We're getting old. My mom would have had a heyday with this game. Dizzy, chilling is always a good thing. Oh, yeah. Come to think of it, my brother would too. You were talking about someone having 4 strands of hair for George McGovern. The guy that just got soundly whipped by Nixon. Back then, hair transplants looked like stapled ant legs. Oh, got you. Hair transplants didn't exist back then. I meant donut shop. Donut shop. Hold on. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Is it a donut shop for Fallout 4? Slocum's Joe? Alright, the Nixon administration. Face the nation. Oh, that's right. Nixon's got so much more to... Let's do his foreign policy first. Let's go back to the mushroom cloud. No, he'll jump off that damn mushroom cloud. I wonder if he'll go flying out of the plane. Let's find out. This is not a level that I tested much. I just built it and... It's Air Force 1v1. Let's do like... So this is Nixon foreign policy, so obviously, let's do Nixon. Let's give him Agnew one last time. Let's look under strongmen. I think Ho Chi Minh is dead. But you know what? I could have had him go against Ho Chi Minh the first time, so let's do that. Yeah. Let's give him 2 North Vietnamese soldiers. No, not up there. What are you doing up there? Okay. But really, though, you like my plane? I mean, it's not perfect. You get the point, though. Oh, Spiro's eating that up. And now he's eating Ho Chi Minh up. He's even taking him back to the front of the plane. Well, they got Ho Chi Minh. Seems like those guys with machine guns are tougher than one would think. Or no, they're just as tough as one would think. You know? I just skipped ahead and saw a beautiful plane. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Working for a demo for enjoy 3D modeling, but I just need to learn how to code. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, my bad. Starting to get the thought process behind C hashtag and GD script, but I still have no clue how to do it myself. Still make mods for Fallout 4. I should share some screenshots of what I've been working on. Yeah, that'd be cool. By the way, you have the paid subscription to Cap. Fresh install this free stuff is no longer free, and you can't do anything until you restart your paid subscription. Yeah, love to do that. The textures they use in Fallout are very easy to make. Those jackets. I installed that shit long ago. Wait, what shit? What did I miss? Oh, Fallout 4? Oh no, one of the programs. Gotcha. And then a beautiful plane. for which I am grateful. It is an awesome plane. Okay. Okay. Now I'm starting to question it. No. Plus I can control and tracking all this shit. I'm always wanting more plants, flowers, and food items for Fallout 4. And there you can print in VR. I have a book that's... Alright. Face the nation, Mr. Nixon. This will be the final one. I'm over by a couple minutes here. I mean, yeah. Okay. That's right. Let's throw in Nixon. Have him facing north this time. He's no good at this. This map's going to get him killed again. We'll give him Agnew again, even though Ford will take over in a little bit. You know what? Let's give him Ford as well. Jerry Ford! Sorry. It's probably startling. Let's get our governors out there to keep people in place. North. East. Nope, just one of you. South. Again, just one of you. And the independent country called California. Alright. Go to the people.
Oh, that's so crazy. What else is on here?
Oh, that's a commercial you're hearing. Alright, we start. No Proud Boys. No Greenpeace. Dixiecrats. I mean, 1? 2? Put 2. Indiscretion with President Nixon? I mean, it's a different type of indiscretion. Truther, soccer mom, legacy media. Oh, the media's hounding them. Oh, yeah. Hell, Nixon. You lost this level in 68. You're going to lose it this time, too. Because I think it just gets worse. Native activists. Yep. Put a couple of them out here. Crime. Yep. Put a hamburglar in every sector. Labor unions. Against Nixon? Yeah. Not as bad as one would think, though. Because, again, he wasn't... he wasn't that conservative. Plumbers. Yeah, this becomes a problem this time, so we'll put... How many were there in real life? 6? And we'll put 6. Although I'm going to run out of people. I might have to erase some. Communist. I'll put a couple. CIA, hippies. Yeah. Hippies, counterculture, all that stuff. All them things. Weather Underground, why not? Pharma, socialist, yeah. We'll even put a socialist in the South, just because I'm running out of room in other areas. got 10 slots left. God, and we haven't even put some Black Panthers. One there. One there. Not in the South. Wait, I don't know. There's some humor to that too, Anthony. Why? That'd be dumb of me to put him in the South. But my first thing I think of is like, why? Because he's black. Yeah, like, well, yeah. I think that was the issue. Although there had to be some chapters in the South, right? I mean, you're talking about a national organization there. So feminists. I mean, just the usual suspects. A little bit of inflation. Let's have inflation kind of creep its head, because it's going to get worse. You're going to see more of them. Counterculture. Sure. We only have 2 more spots. I'm trying to think if I have any specific people. We'll go to independent counsel. Wait, we have Sam. Sam Irvin. Don't I? What's up, Billy Carter? Well, maybe he was under government. Hold up. No, he's under Democrats. And yeah, I'm going to put him in there. Where are you at, Sam? There he is, Sam Irvin. He was the chairman of the committee that looked into Watergate. So yeah, he's a problem for President Nixon. And Sam Irvin was from the South. I think it was from Louisiana. The key there was that they kind of wanted somebody that the Republicans had some commonality with in terms of like conservatism and whatnot. Let's give them one more. Let's do corporate interest. Put them in the North. Let's get this over with. Sorry, let me check the chat real quick. Oh dear. It's all that's stopping me from making a game. It'd be cool if you made a game. That would be awesome. Same point here. Always disappointed in the amount of flowers in Fallout. Takes forever but looks awesome. I bet. Yeah, tedious, but still, like as long as it achieves what you're aiming for. That's cool. You know, I would love to be able to design a game. Hey. Yeah, no, that would be cool. I would make a political Street Fighter with all these characters. It'd look better, though. It'd play better. No, it wouldn't. What I'm talking about. Alright, they're heading for the north. Oh, I didn't put any war doves. Oh, well, peace doves. Spiro Agnew's eating a feminist there. And the governor of the state. Don't fall, Nixon. And he fell. And he's dead. Where's Agnew? I hear him. Oh, there he is. I hear him doing that. Spiro has eaten a, is that a socialist? Yeah. Oh dear. They're trying to, that balloon will not carry the mighty Spiro Agnew. As you can see, here comes inflation, straight from Mickey D's. What's Gerald Ford doing? He's holding his own. This seems appropriate. Spiro Agnew and Gerald Ford are like, what happened to Nixon? It's like he abandoned us. Especially Gerald Ford's thinking that. He's like, he's thinking, shit, am I on my own here? Here comes a hippie coming up from behind. Somehow she got through. Okay, well, she's gone. She's gone. Gerald Ford is taking it to the Washington, D.C. area, actually well up into Appalachia. Oh dear, the plumbers can shoot? And it's not like they're fighting the plumbers, they're just trying to fight the plumbers' mess. Because clearly they didn't fix the leaks. What? Oh, man. Who's shooting lightning over here? Huh? Who is doing that? I can't tell if it's Sam Irvin or if it does look like it is. Yep. And every time he fires it, I think it's freezing him. Well, Gerald. Shit, looks like Spiro did a bang-up job out west. Sam Irvin's not going to let them. I mean, he keeps interrupting with that. Yep, that's what's really killing him, I think. But it's kind of cool. It's like Irvin, the chairman's coming in, like, we're putting a stop to this. And Ford's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. This all just fell in my lap. Well, I think that's the fact that he was the last Republican standing is wholly appropriate. Gerald Ford is now the president. Nixon ended up in one of the Great Lakes again, right? These more regular plants. Not fancy plants. Or fancy pants, for that matter. Grown in an old boot. That would be kind of cool. Sapling in a cup. Yeah. Lighting everything. It's insane. I was telling a buddy of mine about games that I wanted to make back in the day that my friends were like, oh, hell no. I don't know if I should say them on stream, but if I were to say them on any stream, I think this one would be the most appropriate one to say on. One of them would be called Off the Reservation, and it would be based in the late 1860s, almost all of the 1870s. I think you get the gist of it. Like, you are a warrior, and you can assemble a large group of warriors, and you leave the reservation. That would kind of be it. You'd have to survive against tribes that like threw in with the federal government, against soldiers, settlers, posses, shit like that. But the name, you know, I can remember my buddies like, no way, nope. And I said, okay, well, what about Off the Plantation? Because that would be the other game in the series that I would want to make. And again, I was met with like, dude, that's disgusting. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to explain it, man. You could min-max that game and come back and basically be Django Unchained. But I don't know. In both of those scenarios, you could learn. It would be freaking terrifying. At least in the latter game, it would be. I don't know. But I get it, the logic of like you make a game out of like both of those things. That's nuts. But I don't think it is. I mean, well, here we are talking about a game about a post-nuclear holocaust, right? If I wanted to make a game, but become lost in tutorial, hell yeah. Watching how-to videos and getting nowhere, oh yeah. I can imagine. But at this moment, I have a nice concept, not overly ambitious, and can be done. But you must start making a little demo first, gray box. My first goal was try to make a slushy animation. Nice. Sounds tough though. Let me cut the animation without using water fizzes. I've done this. Next step. Oh yeah, I see. Like the whole tutorial aspect. Do I have anything else for Nixon, or did we? I think we did it. We done did it. And that is, I don't think I'm surprised we got out of the 1960s. But the next one will be 1976, the Bicentennial Bash. But I'm surprised. Like, we've covered some politics through some fighting. We did 1960 in the shadow of the general. We did 64, the death of Camelot. We did 68, collapse of the coalition. And honestly, like that's as far as I thought I'd get tonight. But no, we managed to get into the summer of McGovern. And again, I need to go back and like I need to nerf Thomas Eagleton, and I need to make McGovern a little stronger. Just a little bit. But I hope if anybody had no idea who some of these people were, maybe you picked up something. I still stand by McGovern was he was the OG Bernie Sanders. And I do feel like in a modern day sense, a lot of people on the Democratic side, especially the insiders and the politicos, insisted that they not have another, no, I'm talking about 2016, I'm sorry, that they not have another McGovern moment by letting Sanders get the nomination. They did everything tooth and nail to avoid repeating the McGovern, some could call it debacle, but you know what I'm saying. God King Zool, how the hell are you? This very patriotic sounding music. Indeed, it has some military little going and whatnot. It's from Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which I'm kind of parodying with political figures. But you missed the political lectures. You're just in time for some salutations, and that's about it. But good to see you, man. Covered 1960 up to, God, actually we made it to 76, yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing with that. The next one we have will be 76, the Bicentennial Bash, Gerald Ford. It's kind of hung out to dry. I almost feel like he should have to battle Nixon just to get over everything. Ford's vice president, we won't even have a fight with this guy because there's not an election. But Nelson Rockefeller. So if you watch a bit and you've seen Rockefeller keep trying to get liberalism into the Republican Party, or make it grow anyways, that liberalism. Yeah, he actually became Gerald Ford's pick for VP. And then when Ford ran for re-election, he got Bob Dole instead. Which is kind of nice. Like, in a way, it's like, here you go, Nelson Rockefeller. Here's a reward for trying. But Bob Dole, I made him look like, I guess I could show some of that, yeah. Here's all the friggin' characters. And we've got a... Here's Bob Dole. Essentially Mega Man. Why? Because his right arm was disabled. Sorry. I know that's not cool. I've said and done a lot of things tonight that weren't cool. I did miss it. I am swamped at work. No worries, man. You know. Damn, we don't run attendance here. I'm just happy to see the name God King Zoo out there. So yeah, that's and we've still got a lot. I gotta tell you, running this has gone slower than I thought. Initially, like, but once I started streaming it, I was like, okay, we'll probably get through the 60s, which is essentially what we did. So yeah, more to come. The the Ford administration, Jimmy Carter coming at him like a young Luke Skywalker. Freaking the age of Reagan, the Bush dynasty, William Jefferson Clinton, W. Barack Obama. Yes, Bernie Sanders and Hillary in there, and some Donald J. Trump. The character models are... Oh, that's right. And when I run Ford, I couldn't think of like an actual person. Like for Carter, I've got Billy Carter, his brother that sold his brand of beer and embarrassed the family or whatever. For Reagan, I've got Bonzo, because Reagan was in a movie called Bedtime with Bonzo, or Bedtime for Bonzo. His monkey friend. I don't know. Maybe he'll be an ally. And Captain Klutz for Gerald Ford, because I don't... Other than the two women that tried to assassinate him, and again, I'm not putting assassins in here. I didn't know who to put, so I thought, oh, well, Gerald Ford fell a few times. This seems kind of mean. Because he was not like... He wasn't in the same shape Biden was in, and Gerald Ford was one of our most athletic presidents, so... I don't know. Just gotta watch his step. So giant banana is his thing. Anyhow, yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. I'm gonna call it, but I do appreciate everybody that stopped by tonight for this 3-hour adventure, slightly over. Romance of the two-party system 4. The dynasty of FDR is over. His lieutenant and even the general has fallen. No, okay, I'm sorry. Thanks for checking out this experimental little thing. I guess I've got more of it to do. Also, I am playing Street Fighter, so I probably will stream some Street Fighter here soon. I made Chuck Norris, and I'm working on making Steven Seagal. Anyhow, I want to say some thank yous, of course. Denise, thank you. God King Zul, thank you, my friend. Zero Core. Diz. Loco 4-pack. And of course, Casper. I know I'm missing one. Water Draco. That's right. That's right. Is he the only one I'm missing there? I think so, unless there are some lurkers, and I suspect there were. I do appreciate the lurkers as well. You know that. There you go, Diz. See, Steven Seagal's making his return. We'll see. God, the character creator in Street Fighter is nuts, to be honest. But they don't have Steven Seagal's exact haircut, but because he's got that widow's peak that's just painted on. But nonetheless, when you see him, I think you'll be like, "That's Steven Seagal." Like, you know, it's good enough. Oh, thanks, Denise. And my pleasure, as always. If you like this kind of thing, and if you subscribe to this kind of thing, you can do that. More presidential showdowns in the future. Stay tuned, or don't. But whatever you do, have a good time doing it. Alright, that's it, I've done it. Good night. Sweet dreams. Great weekend. Big sets. Happy fun. High fructose corn syrup.